Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey joins us now. Thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to be with you.
Let's jump right in. You have been watching the protests in Massachusetts and around the country, I'm sure. And in fact, you attended one of the rallies in Franklin Park. Why did you want to do that?
Well, I wanted to go in solidarity with those who were marching for justice and equality. You know, if you think back to 4 months ago, first with the COVID epidemic, we saw in real ways the disparities that exist for Black people in this country, Black and brown people in this country. And those disparities were only exacerbated during COVID. And then George Floyd happens, right? Ahmaud Arbery happens. And now you see this swell, this groundswell around the country, people calling for justice, transformation, and change. And I wanted to be there in solidarity at what was a very peaceful march and vigil that evening.
You are the top prosecutor in the state. You are an assistant district attorney for a time as well. So you know this system. What are the specific changes that we need to see in our court system, not just in policing? What are the specific changes you want to see in our court system to make it a fairer system?
Well, I'd even like to bring it out further than just the court system. I mean, fundamentally, we're talking about racism that unfortunately has existed in this country for 400 years. It's in the court system, it's in the criminal justice system, but it's also in healthcare, education, employment. And what we need to do right now is confront that. There are certainly reforms that we should undertake right now in this time. I've been working with a group of state AGs so that we would be able to go to federal court and investigate police brutality cases like the kinds that we've seen lately. We currently don't have that power. It's with the Department of Justice. So that's one change. But, you know, you look at what this is about in the big picture, and I think all of us benefit from educating ourselves about racism and systemic racism in our country. I think we need to do that in law enforcement and in the courts. We already have some good models nationally of what 21st century policing looks like. We should be adopting and implementing and training those. We don't need to defund the police. We need to transform policing and give officers the support they need. If you look at the vast majority of the work done by police officers these days, it's responding to community care needs, dealing with substance use disorder, dealing with domestic violence and the like. Let's switch and put resources in that direction and anti-violence prevention as well, so that our forces are better able to serve us. But we need a lot of unconscious bias training, and we need to continue to find ways to dismantle systemic racism that unfortunately pervades all aspects of society. But we can do this.
You mentioned the defund the police movement. You say you don't necessarily think that's a good idea. What about qualified immunity for police officers? Is that a system that we have to change? And for anyone who doesn't know, qualified immunity effectively protects public officials from being sued for acts that they take in official roles.
Well, here are some things that I think are important with that. What we need to have are uniform standards for appropriate use of force in this country, period. There should never be chokeholds, for example. I support the legislation here in Massachusetts to ban chokeholds. But we need uniform training and standards on use of force. That's really what I think we should be focusing on, and making sure that departments have those resources. We also need to do things like not let a police officer who's engaged in really horrific conduct in another state come and be a police officer here. That brings everybody down. And so that's also why I support legislation here in Massachusetts that would keep that from happening.
That would be certifying police officers, which currently Massachusetts does not do.
That's right. And I think, again, this is important so that we know that we're taking a step to avoid what would be a really unfortunate situation. You know, somebody who does something like we saw happen in Minnesota, maybe that not to that degree, or maybe it wasn't filmed or is widely publicized, you know, nevertheless, that person should not be able to come and be a police officer here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
We have been hearing from police officers, police chiefs across Massachusetts and across the country who feel that they are effectively under attack right now, that they're all being singled out in a way. What's your response to that?
Well, you know, I certainly understand that. It's a difficult time in policing right now, and there are so many dedicated good men and women who are out there all across the state giving it their all. We've seen that firsthand during the coronavirus. I think that we can acknowledge, though, in law enforcement, as in any other area, there is more to be done. And I know from having spoken with police here, having spoken with district attorneys, having spoken with police chiefs, a lot of good models are already in place and underway, but there is certainly room to do more.
Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.